educate, interact, and learn. The last Lattice session was on February 20th, and we've been forced to cancel the rest of our sessions for the year. So this is our way of carrying on the Lattice mission and to stay connected. Today's moderators will be Jen Wargo. Hi, Jen. We can wave. Okay. Jen is the Deputy Director of the Office of China's Programs and also the Outreach Coordinator at Asian Studies at MSU. She's a member of the Lattice Board. And today she's going to be operating the Zoom, which she has more expertise on than any of the rest of the Lattice Board. So thank you, Jen, for that. My name is Robert Lurie, and I'll introduce our outstanding reporters, keep the show moving around. I'm the current Lattice Director, or Session Director, and I'm also a social studies teacher at Waverly High School on the west side of town here. So go Warriors, okay? So what is Lattice, for those of you who are not informed? So Lattice was founded back in 1995, way ahead of its time, and stands for linking all types of teachers to international cross-cultural education. It's a very special learning community, and I'm going to read the mission real quickly. It's a network that cultivates and supports global perspectives and identities in K-12 classrooms through personal and professional development opportunities. Traditionally, Lattice meets monthly during the MSU academic year, but of course that's been thwarted this year. Our membership is made up of area K-12 teachers and also international graduate students, of which there are many, I think, that are tuned in today, and faculty staff at MSU College of Education and a sorted number of outstanding community members. At each session, we learn together, we eat together, we argue a little bit, and we form lifelong relationships that make us better teachers, better students, and also better citizens. There's no cost to join Lattice, and we encourage new members interested in Lattice's work and in contributing to this cause. I want to take a minute to acknowledge the board that are all logged in today. So Board President Nancy Lubeski, if you can wave, and board members John Metzler, Lynn Bartley, happy birthday, Lynn, Kong Lee, Emily Holly, Jen Wargo, Joy Shantz, Kathy Hicks, and Arfang Dabo, who will actually be zooming in with us from Dakar, Senegal. Also, big shout out to the Lattice graduate assistant, Ignacio Gonzalez Rogers. So we've had an opportunity to introduce ourselves. We want you to introduce yourself. So if you can find the Zoom chat box, and if you could just kind of acknowledge who you are and where you're at, that would be great. It'd be nice to get a nice collection of where everyone is coming from.
And while everyone is doing that, this is Jennifer here. I just want to thank all of you for joining. Some of you are former Lattice members, and some of you this is your first time to attend a Lattice session. So thank you for joining in today. And we look forward to your questions and interacting with you today. Just so everyone knows about Zoom, I'm recommending everyone stays muted just so that we can, hear the presenters clearly. And then I'm assuming, Robert, at some point, if we have time for question and answer, then you can either use the raise hand feature on Zoom. There is a way for you to raise your hand, and I can see that on my end, and I'll call on you in the order that hands are raised. If you don't see that feature or you're not sure how to use it, you can also just put a message in the bottom with your question, and I'll try to get to you in that order as well. So thank you. I see the introductions coming in.
Thanks, Jen. So yeah, I'm glad to, Jen will be operating that. And a couple points we want to make sure to emphasize. We want to encourage you to use the chat box, not only to introduce yourself, but also to post questions or thoughts or ideas that you might have so we can make this a more interactive activity. So I think we're about ready to go. I also want to let you know at the end of the meeting, Jen is going to put up a URL for a quick survey, and we appreciate you doing that. It'll be less than 2 minutes, and we just need some feedback from you. So here we go. Our reporters will provide insights and stories about how their schools and communities are responding to COVID-19. As we know, life in Michigan has changed dramatically in the last several weeks. Our schools are closed and your universities are closed. Entertainment venues are closed. all but essential services have closed down. We're under a stay safe and stay home executive order. In fact, at some time during our meeting today, our governor, Gretchen Whitmer, will be having a press conference which will announce kind of the fate of where we're going to go with our school year now that's scheduled to end in June. So let's get started. I'm going to introduce our reporters by time zone. I'm hoping everything goes as planned, but we're ready to improvise if it doesn't, okay? We'll have to see who we have all logged in. There have been a few challenges. John Metzler let me know a couple days ago that a very important undersea cable had been severed that's affecting internet in South Africa. So we're all connected in that same way. So let's get started. So our first situation, so we're with you 100%. Okay, now it's time to skip over a few time zones and head out to Indonesia, where Dion Ginanto will be reporting to us. Dion teaches at senior high in high school English in high school 1 in Batang, Indonesia. He also teaches 2 courses at Islamic University in Jambi. Dion is the former Lattice graduate assistant, and I'm wearing this really cool shirt that I got last summer when I got the opportunity to visit to Dion. And so Dion, it's all yours. Let's hear your report. Dion, are you back there yet? Are you back here yet? Let's see if we can find him.
Hello.
There he is. Thanks, Dion.
Hello.
It's all yours. Did you get my introduction?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Just maybe the video is not the best. So if it's easier to help your internet, you can turn the video off, but we can hear you very clearly. Oh, now we can't.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
There he is.
Yeah. Okay. Assalamualaikum or selamat malam. That's the way we greet each other here in Indonesia. So right now it is at night at 10 p.m. I'm now in Jambi in island of Sumatra. I'm teaching in senior high school in Indonesia. And once again, my name is Dion Ginanto. I joined Lattice since 2012 and served as Lattice GA from 2014 to 2018. I think the longest GA have ever served Lattice. COVID-19. Oh my God, it's so terrible. I call it as a monster. It kills almost people business. People lost their jobs. And here in Indonesia, we have 1,790 cases and we have 170 deaths. And also we have 112 recovered. So in Southeast Asia, I think Indonesia is the biggest coronavirus victims. And now our government is not choosing the option to lock down, but instead we prefer and we are thinking to use civil emergency. Civil emergency here means that the government has the authority, among other powers, to limit people's movement and permit or ban public gatherings and limit or ban the use of building and parking. And we do not use lockdown because we are a big country. We have 265 million people. And the government is kind of like impossible to give compensation for its citizen. So that's why we use civil emergency. The government can limit the people movement, but the government do not need to give incentive to its citizen. So I think there are pros and cons, but this policy is changing all the time. but I hope civil emergency will be effective to stop the spreading of the virus. So in terms of education, yes, it's affecting the school. We cancel the school until May 29. So we have online classes, but due to the internet connection, we some teachers use Google Classroom, but most of us use WhatsApp application. I don't know if you guys familiar with WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is very low and it's not really consuming the data. So it's more effective to be used in Indonesia. And parents are complaining a lot because teachers give a lot of homeworks, uh, give a lot of projects. But now the teachers, the parents really understand how difficult to be a teacher. So now they kind of like thankful to the teachers in our country. The positive thing about coronavirus is in our community, we start doing back what is our culture. We call it gotong royong. So it's a collaborative teamwork that we work together to spread the disinfectant in our neighborhood, and we collaborative with other people in our neighborhood. So this kind of like culture almost gone, but due to coronavirus, somewhat it come back. So that is the positive thing. The only one thing that we can have due to coronavirus. And also the parents now kind of like more respectful to teachers. So I think that's all, guys. I'm so happy to be with you all and see all friends here. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dion. And it was so nice to see you and the children. And I hope Ira is doing well, and stay safe, and we'll be in touch. Okay, so now we're having to go to China. We have two reporters from China. And our first one is Yoly Wang, who is living in Chongqing. She's a graduate student from Southwest University in China. She went to MSU this last spring, or from September to December this last year, and I was able to be her host family, and my wife and I were, and she was a regular attendant at Lattice. So she's going to talk about some of her own experiences in Chongqing. So are you all set, Yoly?
Yes, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
We can. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. It's very nice to attend this meeting. Like, I have been staying in my home for more than 2 months, and now everything goes better. There are actually totally close to 600 cases in our city, and now still existing 3 cases. All of them came back from abroad. Now there are still like close to 3,000 cases in China, and there are close to 1,000 cases came back from abroad. So our government has a new policy that all the Chinese people came back from abroad would be isolated in the hotel once they take off from the airplane. And now all the schools are still not open, and all the students have to take the courses online. There is a big event called Gaokao, is the college entrance examination, which would be take place during the June every year. But now our government just announced that this exam would be pushed back by 1 month. So it's actually a very big pressure for the high school students to study at home. They have to memorize a lot of knowledges in a very short time, and now they have to suffer another 1 month. All the big cases in China now are stopped, and we know but the same goes better. And now we still closed a lot of stores like the KTV or the karaoke, or all this kind of stuff are closed, and people are encouraged to stay at home until now. Yeah, as a graduate student, I don't have classes this semester. I just stay at home to prepare my graduate paper. So I know last month, especially 2 months ago, when the first break of the virus cases, that every people feel disappointed, have no hope, but now things goes better and people feel like, yeah, everything is good. And I hope we can start this semester next month. And yeah, and I know there still existing many rumors about where those viruses came from, but there is still no official announcement about this kind of things. So people are still guessing where are those viruses from, and there are many rumors. And yeah, and I hope things will go better for all the countries, all the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Yoly. It's good to hear from you, and it does give us some sense of optimism. Here in the East Lansing area, it's sunny today for the first time in quite a long period of time, and the sun and your words certainly give us a little optimism here as we go through our protocol that you experienced previously. So our last reporter today is Wanfei, who many of you know. Wanfei is had earned her PhD last year in curriculum instruction and teacher education at MSU, and she was the graduate assistant last year before Ignacio. She came back to China after graduation and is now working at South China Normal University in Gungzhou. So Wanfei, it's all yours. Really anxious to hear your report. Wanfei, can you hear us? Let's scroll through. She was here previously. I think she's been having some internet problems. Let's give her a second or two and see if we can.
We can see you, Wanfei, but we cannot hear you. I wonder if you have a headset. Sometimes that, okay, I see she said she is talking right now. Let's see, if you have a headset, you can try that, or try, okay, she has a headset, so maybe remove the headset and try to talk without the headset. Maybe we'll see if that works. I have another ID. Oh, Wanfei, can you say something?
Yeah, can anyone hear me?
Now we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So, hello everyone. I'm Wanfei. So I'm now living in Guangzhou, China. So Guangzhou is the provincial capital of Guangdong province. It's the southern part of China. So I was in quarantine back in Sichuan with my family since January, because the beginning of the January is our national Spring Festival holiday. So during our national spring holiday, it was announced nationwide that we have this coronavirus pandemic. So then I stayed home with my parents. Even in Sichuan province, a little different from the lockdown Hubei province and Wuhan city, we have strict quarantine and we stayed home. All the restaurants, all the public space are closed, and then all the holidays are postponed, and when I was back in China in like late January and during the February, every apartment complex, like every unit of those residential buildings are like are strict to quarantine. It's like we have like permits. We were distributed with permits for each family, like how many times we can go out per person, like per day or per 2 days. So it was in that kind of strict quarantine. And at that time, ordinary people are not able to purchase masks, facial masks, because it was really tight resources. Then they were all sent to Wuhan, to the most severe district area for all those medical usages. But later, I think I came back to Guangzhou on February 21st, because at that time, the transportation between several provinces, depending on different policies from different provinces, the transportations are open. I can go on high-speed train. I can go back to Guangzhou, but like I have some other friends who work in university in Beijing. They're not allowed to go back to Beijing because maybe they have a more stricter policy about all those transportation. So I came back to Guangzhou. I live in an apartment close to campus. So since the announcement of the pandemic, all the universities or all the schools are closed until now, including universities in Guangzhou. But the specific policy is different. Like when I came back to Guangzhou, I can come back to my apartment complex, while it's the same almost in every city. In each residential buildings, we have check-in stations. Like when we go in, go out, we will staff will check our temperatures, and we are required to wear facial masks. We're required to wear facial masks if we go into public space. And while the university is closed, students are not back. They're on courses.
Sounds like,
Oh,
there you are, Wanfei. Go ahead. We missed the last few, maybe 30 seconds or so.
oh, okay. So wrap up quickly. As I can observe my data, the students host.
I think we have a connection problem. Unfortunately, we cannot hear you. Maybe if you, Robert, I don't know what you think, but maybe Wanfei, if you could send a message in the chat box to everyone, we can hear your final, we can see your final thought.
Yeah.
It was very clear though, up until the end.
Okay, thanks, Jennifer, for your assist there. Yeah, I appreciate it, and thank you, Wanfei. This has been great because that's been just a few minor tech problems, but that was really clear. So the time has come now for us to kind of open this up to questions, and I'm going to throw this over to Jennifer, who's going to kind of manage the questions here if you have them. There's the little hand raising guy on your chat thing that she can instruct you through. But I want to, just obviously really thank everybody for checking in today. What a wonderful, opportunity here. And as we think about the similarities and differences between what we all go through, it's pretty clear that we're all interconnected, and we all have this, our fate is is so connected together. So Jennifer, if you want to kind of take over, that'd be great.
Yeah, I went ahead and put the survey. I'll post it again at the end as well, but I went ahead and put the survey in the chat box because I know a few people have to leave by 11. So if you could fill out that survey that Robert and Ignacio created, that would be really helpful. So yeah, for the raising hand, if you have questions, I think if you look at the bottom of your screen, I'm on a laptop, so I don't know exactly what it looks like on a phone, but it says manage, or it might say participants. You can click that. And then you should see a list of participants, and there should be a button for you to raise a hand. So if you have a question for a specific panelist, you can, or reporter, I guess we're calling you today, you can raise your hand and I can see that and call on you. Alternatively, I think you could also type your question into the chat box. So I'll just let you think for a minute. If you have a question for someone, I see Marisol has a question. So I'm going to unmute you. So let me see, maybe. Okay, there you go. You should be able to go ahead, Marisol.
Hello, everyone. I have a question for local teachers. I would like to know how local teachers are dealing with this situation right now. If they're teaching, what does the situation look like in schools here in the US, in Michigan particularly?
So are there any
Okay.
Michigan teachers out there who would like to answer that? Amanda, she actually raised her hand. Not high tech, but it works. Go ahead.
Our district so far has said that they're not expecting or requiring us to teach in East Lansing, Michigan. But we have been reaching out to students anyway. And so we're kind of trying to do that in different ways that support our different needs with students. So we sent home some extra resources the day before we closed. We are reaching out on apps using Seesaw or via email and just calling families.
I wonder, oh, go ahead, Robert.
I was just going to piggyback in there. You know, I think we're all facing tremendous challenges because we were completely unprepared, right? It was like on Thursday, they said school will be closed, and we had a half a day on Friday, and there was really no opportunity to prepare. I think we're also really dealing with some of the, you know, kind of equity issues with the diverse population we have. I know in our school district, we have about 70% of our students are on free and reduced lunch. So challenges to internet at home, challenges even to getting food to students. Our students get 2 free meals a day at school. So I'm not sure where school is fitting into the priority list for all people. I know we're getting some guidance probably right now from the governor, but we'll see. But there have been some huge challenges beyond what you would normally expect.
Robert, I wonder if you or someone else could speak more to that. I know in some of my conversations at MSU with some of my international and domestic colleagues, it's a challenge for people to understand the, I guess the question I often get is why not offer something online for some students? That seems better than nothing. And I try to very inadequately explain sort of the history and the culture of the equity issue, I guess. So I don't know if maybe you or someone else, another educator, could tell us more about that culturally, maybe a historical perspective. Why are we not offering anything?
Julie Keck, are you out there? Do you want to try to handle that?
I will try and handle that. We were, one of the ways it was explained to us is as a public school, we are required to reach the students, all of the students, even those who have 504 plans or IEPs, special ed students, and they're trying to figure out how we can meet the needs of everyone, because if you're not guaranteeing as a public school you're meeting everyone's needs, they can't count the instruction that you do as time spent teaching. So at least in Mason right now, they're working on trying to get everyone a computer and a hotspot so that they can have that I think they're still really struggling with how to, those students who have their test read, the students who need that extra help with getting things, trying to figure out how to best meet those needs. My last day I had with the students, like literally, I didn't know that Thursday before. We went into school Friday, and I heard it on the way into school Friday. That was going to be our last day, and trying to prepare the students and just saying, listen, this is different. You're probably thinking this is exciting because you'll be off like a spring break or Christmas break, but it's going to be really different for you. It's not going to be, you're not going to be able to go to the malls with your friends. You're not going to be able to go out to the movies like you would at winter break or spring break. You're going to be home. And
thank you. Thank you,
encourage
Kathy.
them to read on and what they're doing, what we're doing in the book to just continue on. But as of right now, we were told that we could not give assignments or grade anything.
All right, thank you, Kathy. I think if everyone will take a look.
They did say they expected that change when the governor shut things down.
Thank you, Kathy. If everyone will also take a look into the chat box, there's some great comments kind of following Kathy's comments and others' comments that you can follow along with there. Sandra, I think Robert had a question for you if you're able to. I'm not sure if you are able to respond or if you have a microphone or not. Go ahead. I guess we can't hear you. We unfortunately can see your mouth moving, but we can't hear. Yeah, I'm sorry. We can't. Can other people hear? Is it just me? No. Okay. So I don't know. Maybe you can put something into the chat box. Is there anyone else who would like to respond to that? And then we have a couple of other questions here. All right, I see, I'm trying to go in order here. Nancy Lubeski also asked a question here, and this I think is open to anyone. And the question was, getting back to it here, how are K-12 students accessing education in your country? So I think this ties into what we were already just discussing here in the US and like what Kathy was talking about, issues of like actually being told that we are not allowed to offer grades to students. You can't grade papers, you can't do these things. And I think Len Payne mentioned that we also, have, it's different by state here in the United States. So that's another thing to point out. So I'm wondering about other countries and how are students accessing education? And you can raise hand or, oh, Arfang, go ahead. Oops.
Here in Senegal, it's a very complex question, because when you talk about education, some might just think of what we call the l'école française, which is the formal education. But in parallel, there is another type of education that is given, and that is sometimes called the Quranic or the madrasa schools, where that is some kind of religious schools. Some are formal still, and some are organized like what I would call the formal schools for education. It's just a private religious education. Now, in the formal sector of education, the trajectory is you have the kindergarten, and then after kindergarten, you go to the elementary education, and then so on. But in the other side of the informal, which is the madrasa, sometimes kids start, from 7, and then they would attend the Quranic schools, In that type of education, you have a variety of different types. Some are organized, but you may find some that are really not organized, and children are not really receiving any education. They would be out in the streets begging. And then, because in the past, in history, that type of education, the children would be limited in the village, and the village people would take care of the teacher. So the children would go around the village to pick the food that they will bring to the to the school for the student and the teacher to eat. So the teacher will only be teaching. So he will not be doing any other business to get money. So all his activities were devoted to teaching. But that has now been kind of distorted, and people are using it to exploit children, and people are using it to get money. So in where I am in the city of Rufisque, yesterday there was a town council, and the municipality and the authorities, they have decided for those schools that are not, because all regular schools are closed. And for some of those schools that are not regular, they continue to function, because those people who were exploiting those children and who were using them, sending them out, for example, to beg for money, so they continue to do their business. So from yesterday, and it's going to be implemented, I think, from today, a lot of them are not from the city. They came from, it's a rural exodus, a form of rural exodus. They come from inside the countries, and they come and settle in the cities. And now they are asked now to choose. Either they conform with the regulations and they will be provided food and everything, but the children will be confined, no movement outside. Or they can choose if they want to return to their original village. They give them a bus, and then with medical people accompany them to their village. So when they get there now, the local medical people will take care of them. So that's what came out, for example, of the meeting of yesterday in the town hall meeting in here where I live in.
Can I say something?
Yes, please. Yes, go ahead. I think, is this Rana?
Yes. I think because we have in Jordan, we have a standardized curriculum. So from north to south, so we have the same curriculum that for all our school. In private schools, they are extra, but we have something common with them. So I think today is the third week that the schools are suspended. So no school, no students go to their schools, and they are forbidden to go outside. Even to play, it's forbidden. We can go from 10 until 6 p.m., from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. If you wanna to extremely critical circumstances, we can just walk. We can't use our cars. So children, they are not allowed to go and play outside, so they have to stay at home. I have one kid. He's now all the three are big, but now I have one in the second grade, and I teach him with his school. We have app. It's called the Class Joe, and they send us, the teachers send us videos, worksheets. Maybe she will have video for herself explaining something, but because he is in private school. But in the public, as I mentioned before, that the Ministry of Education launched a website, and teachers are volunteering to give videos. They would make videos and teach students. When I ask my friends, my families about their children, if they are really they watch this and they work with the teachers, not all of them. Kids, they think that they are in vacation, so they want to play even okay inside. But I don't know. I think, and I believe that we have to continue in teaching, because it doesn't seem that the virus will be ended soon. I think it will take more than 1 or 2 months, and we can't leave children like this. So I think we have to work hard, and we have to offer anything for them to be in touch with them. I believe in so. Thank you.
Thank you. And maybe we'll move to the next question. There are some more great responses to that question, in addition to what Arfang and Rana just shared with us, and Kathy in the chat box. Kathy, do you have a question? I'm sorry, you've had your hand raised for a while now.
I'm sorry, I did not. I did
No
not have
worries.
a question.
That's okay. We will move on to. That's okay. Xiaoying Yuan. I think Xiaoying Yuan.
So I did.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. So I'm currently in China right now, and actually I want to share some ideas about online teaching in China, because in K-12 education, so the teachers will provide the video to the students, and students will watch the videos and have some homework in a Word file. And also maybe the students need to watch maybe 5 or 6 videos, 10 minutes each, to finish all of the courses. And also the interesting thing is they still have give the student a schedule for a week, and every course should follow the schedule, but maybe the length of the class is short, because it cannot provide 50 minutes or 1 hour teaching. They just give you maybe 10 or 15 minutes video. And also the students need to do the PE class at home. It's very interesting. And also they need to report the temperature every day to the teacher. And I think the amazing part of the teaching is the teachers. In China, the class size is maybe about 50 children in a class. So I think the teacher did a great job. They marked every student's homework, and also give a very detailed feedback every day. And if the students didn't submit, or the parents forget to submit the assignment, they will inform let the parents know one by one. So I think they are very, very good. They did a good job at this. And also, for me, I'm right now teaching a university in China. So our university will not open for the whole semester. So So I'm teaching Chinese to the internationals in China. So they are very sad about the decision made by the school. They cannot come back to China to learn Chinese. So they need to learn Chinese in their own countries. So this is very sad for them, and so because they're taking the course for credits. So our concern right now is how to make the assessments fair to everybody, because it's not easy to handle how to give a very fair exam to students with different situation. So I'm also thinking what's the good ideas to solve this problem, or what's your perspectives about the assessments part? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think the question of assessment is a very important one. So if someone has a response, you can raise your hand. In the meantime, Connie has a question for Dion. Dion, if you can hear me, Connie's question is, what percentage of the families in Indonesia have access to WhatsApp?
Hi. The percentage would be, I think almost everyone has WhatsApp app. So because now WhatsApp is free, so you can text free. You can video call for free. You can send voice note for free. You can send video for free, as long as you have internet data. So, but the internet data used through WhatsApp is not as a high comparing to Zoom or Google Classroom or other platform when we teach students. So I think right now the cheapest and the best way to teach students during the coronavirus disaster, or what you call it, like situation. So we can use WhatsApp. That's why we can, teacher can lead the discussion, and we can create WhatsApp group. So it's only teachers and students, and then we have discussion in that apps, and then teachers can also create some discussion questions, and then student can respond in WhatsApp. So that's why, and I think even in the remote area, they can access WhatsApp. So it's not really big using the data compared to other platforms.
Thank you. Robert, at this point, no one has a hand raised. I'm not sure how we are on time, but if do we have time for more questions?
We do, maybe for one more. I know that the governor has just spoken. I'm getting my phone is blowing up here with information, so it'll be interesting to go back and check. And I think that the solution that they're offering here is one that Lynn Payne pointed out in her chat box, and that is there is going to be no centralized solution. It's going to be every school district's going to make their own decisions about how to proceed at this point, which I think it's contrary to the experience of a lot of international countries or other countries where the decision-making is made more at the national level than it is at the state or local level. So we'll have to see how that proceeds. So I just want to, if there are no more questions, I want to offer just a huge thank you to Rana and Arfang and Yoly and Dion and Daniel and Wanfei for spending time. Like I said, it's very late at night in China, and it's very late in Indonesia. Maybe we could all unmute for a second and give them a big round of applause. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Robert, while we're here, can we sing happy birthday to Lynn?
And we have Lynn.
Happy birthday, Lynn.
Go.
Maybe on the count of three, we could sing in whatever tradition you would like to sing in. So 1, 2, 3. Happy
Selamat ulang tahun. Selamat ulang tahun. Selamat ulang tahun, Lynn birthday. Selamat ulang tahun.
Well,
I think oh, there she is. Yay. Oh, she heard it.
I hope that makes it special for you, Lynn. So,
most special birthday song ever.
Thank you. So thank you for filling out the survey. We'll use that data. I think this is, from my anecdotal opinion, this has gone very, very well. So I think maybe we can look forward to doing this again in the future. I want to thank everyone far and near, whether you're here in Michigan or in other parts of the United States or in our global community. Thank you so much. And of course, on behalf of all of us, we wish everyone to be healthy, to be safe. You, your families, your loved ones remain safe during this difficult time. Let's plan another check-in. We'll get back to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you,
Robert. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Nice.
Good job, Robert.
Great job, everybody.
That was
went
awesome.
well. Did it go well, do you think?
It went very well. I enjoyed
Okay.
it thoroughly.